Covino Rich.
All right, welcome to our bonus pod on a very sad day, very sad week, but we're going to do our best to have fun and pay homage, tribute to another legend lost, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, man.
Terry Bollea, one of Rich's heroes.
Big part of all of our childhood, man. If you grew up in the 80s, you were training, saying your prayers, eating your vitamins, you were doing everything the Hulkster told you to do.
He's a real American. We're Covino and Rich, Fox Sports Radio, Monday through Friday, 2 to 4 on the West, 5 to 7 on the East. Next week, we're filling in for Colin Cowherd on Thursday and Friday.
Yes.
Make note of that. But always a pleasure to be here. This is the stuff we didn't have enough time for on our regular show, so appreciate you. Steve Covino, Rich Davis. Like you said, man, our childhood took a hit this week. Malcolm Jamal Warner, 54. Theo Huxtable passed away in Costa Rica. So unfortunate. Then icon, music legend, superstar Ozzy Osbourne at 76. We've been talking about that all week, still processing that. And then you wake up today and you're like, the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan? I thought Jimmy Mouth of the South Heart said he was all right. I guess not.
I feel like it's going to hit me later tonight. I'll be watching some old clips or something. But let me tell you something mean, Steve. I want to go over some of our favorite Hogan moments. I mean, he brought so much joy to our childhoods. You had the rubber action figures. You watched the pay-per-views. I remember like crying when he lost to Ultimate Warrior. So
the hand grip. I always use the Hulk Hogan hand grip. We'll get to that.
What are you good at gripping now?
Yeah, butt cheeks. And you should see my grip, my squeeze, courtesy of the hand grip. And of course, Chuck Mangione too. Feels so good. Passed away at 84, a jazz legend. But man, the Hulkster. We got to go over your favorite moments, Rich.
I mean, listen, the billion-dollar industry that is the WWE all started in 1984 when the Hulkster brother beat the Iron Sheik, Madison Square Garden. It was one of those moments when I was just a little kid, but I remember the buzz. Like before that, wrestling was just old hairy grapplers. Like, hey, get the Polish guy, Ivan Putski, against the Italian guy, Bruno Sammartino. Hulk Hogan was the beginning of like the gimmicks with Vince McMahon.
Let's like really explain who put him on the map. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thunderlips, man. Balboa saw him as a superstar. Rocky 3.
Yeah, pretty crazy to think that.
It always bothered me that he was Thunderlips and not Hulk Hogan in the movie.
Thunderlips, Hogan, Stallone, and Mr. T. And then if you remember when we were little kids, WrestleMania 1 was Hogan and Mr. T.
Yeah.
So they're all sort of tied together. Again, a rough week for our childhood. But 84, when he beat the Iron Sheik, got out of the camel clutch. As a little boy, you're like, oh my God, Hulk Hogan's the coolest. And speaking of the workouts.
Well, keep in mind, too, they were really leaning into the stereotypes. So the Iron Sheik, we hated him.
Of course.
And Hulk Hogan was the real American greatest hero of all time. And the world was swept into that world of wrestling, man.
Hulkamania was running wild, so much so that I guarantee so many people listening and watching right now had this workout set. Did you have the Hulkamania workout set?
Told you, it came with that hand grip.
Take a look. Remember Paul Orndorff was part of it?
I do. You know, I feel like...
How can I get muscles like you guys?
I feel like you busted the wall.
You can start by getting in shape with the Hulkamania workout set.
Great!
This got everything you need. Head and wristband, a jump rope for warming up, a hand gripper for power, dumbbells for strength, an exercise poster, and even Hulk's own workout tape.
The Hulkamania workout set. You from LJN.
You know what I've said? I've always said CrossFit, Orange Theory. Fuck that. I did the Hulkamania workout, brother.
Mean, look at those pythons. That's courtesy of... You still use those weights, right?
I got my Hulkamania Hulk Hogan signed shirt on today.
So that came out in about 1982. I remember every little kid had that. I remember...
85, dude. 85.
Was it 85? No, that was before that. I remember... One of my buddies had it and left that hand grip, I think, at my house, and I never gave it back. I used that shit into my 20s. I think I still have it in a box somewhere.
Now, another great Hulkamania moment as we pay tribute to the Hulkster. It was the most watched pay-per-view at the time. It was the biggest WrestleMania. The Pontiac Silverdome, brother, where they love to say 90,000+ people saw the Hulkster slam Andre the Giant.
They also used to love to say that they had never faced each other before, and Andre the Giant was undefeated and the eighth wonder of the world. So to see the Hulkster step up in this moment was like, holy shit.
Well, to tie in sports, you remember who the ring announcer was?
For this one? Who was it?
All right, 2 baseball announcers. Well, not announcers. Ready? If you go back to WrestleMania 2.
Billy Martin involved in one of them?
He was involved in WrestleMania 1, but in
Right.
WrestleMania 2, let's take it back when he fought King Kong Bundy in the steel cage.
Yeah.
Tommy Lasorda
Oh, yeah.
was the ring announcer. And then in WrestleMania 3, Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker, was the ring announcer for Hogan and Andre. So sports were even tied in. And MTV was tied in. Cyndi Lauper, Captain Lou Albano. It's all so tied to our childhood, which is why losing the Hulkster is a big deal. All right. Now, there was a moment that, I don't know if you remember this, but this is one of my favorite, like, odd Hogan moments. Do you remember the Hebner brothers, the twins?
I do.
There were 2 referees,
Yeah.
but no one knew it at the time. So $1 Billion Man paid off the twin referees, one of the twins, to get Hogan to lose. You took the money, brother. You took the C notes from the $1 Million Man. This is a great moment in wrestling history.
Did you cry more when that happened or when he lost?
To the Ultimate Warrior,
The Ultimate
probably
Warrior.
then. I was a little Hulkamaniac. I really was. And I remember everyone was thrown for a major freaking loop. Mid-90s, you might have been in high school or college. Just when you thought Hogan was sort of like wearing thin on people, the whole red and yellow was like, all right, we get it. He beats everyone.
Well, he was oversaturated
There was
a little bit.
There was
yeah.
a moment of staleness for the Hulkster. He leaves the steroid scandals with Vince McMahon. He pops up in the WCW. And everyone's like, nah, just more of the same Hulk Hogan. Until he revolutionizes wrestling again with the NWO, Hollywood Hogan. He becomes a bad guy. Who would have ever thought that the guy that told you to train, say your prayers, and eat your vitamins, a hero, said, I did it all for the money. I hate you fans. And
He
became a
goes
bad
heel.
guy.
I mean, we were talking about that recently because John Cena recently went heel, and we're like, man, he's really great at it. Kind of like when Hogan did it, because he did it in such a great way. You never thought you'd see it, and he reinvented himself, became a big-time superstar again. And let's make it clear, wrestling wouldn't be what it is today if it wasn't for the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan. And you could say that he had the same impact that Ozzy had on rock and in metal, if not more.
You know, the crazy part about losing 2 legends in the same week, Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan, is that they revolutionized their industry, and it wouldn't have been the same without him. Ozzy Osbourne, that dark sound of that metal rock wouldn't have been the same without Ozzy Osbourne. Might not have ever existed.
Rock, as we know it today, wouldn't be the same without Ozzy. Wrestling, as we know it today, wouldn't be where it is without Hulk Hogan.
Tie them together. What's one thing they have in common?
I mean,
Besides being icons.
superstars, icons of the 80s, long hair.
Later in their life,
Reality shows.
we followed around their families. Hogan knows
Another
best,
thing.
and the Osbournes.
Yep.
Sharon!
They both led us
Yeah.
into their lives. And yeah, man, we lost some good ones this week for sure. Now, these were great moments. What are yours? Hit us up at Covino and Rich at Fox Sports Radio. Again, this is one of Rich's heroes, so these are the ones near and dear to him.
When I was a
No one
little
followed
kid.
his life, any more than Rich. Of course, we all had the toys and the giant rubber figures and the thumb wrestlers in the ring and everything. Yeah, I had. Everybody had that.
See that little picture of 5-year-old me? Did you have your rubber Hulk Hogan action figure?
You better believe I had that one. And the stupid Ventura one, Jesse Ventura, you couldn't even fight with it because he was posed like this. And Roddy Piper and Andre the Giant, Big John Studd weighed like 5 pounds.
Big John Studd, you could knock your sibling out cold if you hit him with the Big John Studd one.
Funny, true story. My sister picked it up. It's the only time my dad really defended me. My little sister went, Shazam, over my head, like cut my head. And he's, hey, what are you doing? I'll never forget it because it felt like I was hit by at least a 10-pound weight.
Covino was concussed in 87,
But
thanks
all
to a
these-
Big John Studd figure.
Great moments, great memories, an iconic career and multi-billion-dollar industry as a result of Hulk Hogan. I thought for sure you're going to say the many times we had him on our show because that was a childhood dream come true when a guy larger than life, one of the most recognizable figures all over the world was in the presence of us in our studio and hanging out with him. I remember him telling us There was one point in time where Mickey Mouse, Muhammad Ali, and Hulk Hogan were the three most recognizable figures in the world. No matter where you are in the world, his mustache and the red and yellow were synonymous with wrestling.
Well,
everybody knew that guy.
Interestingly enough, a lot of the legends we've lost over the couple of years, and oddly enough, I'm going to throw Pee Wee Herman in this mix because the 80s, if you're a kid of the 80s and 90s like we are,
they leaned into the gimmicks.
They leaned it. Pee Wee Herman, Paul Rubens was Pee Wee. Hulk was Hulk Hogan. Ozzy Osbourne, very rarely until the reality show, you always saw him as the Prince of Darkness.
Right.
And it was a very special time having Hogan in the studio.
Yeah, he cried in our studio. He went through some tough times. We talked about it. We laughed a lot. We had a lot of great moments with the Hulkster. And again, a larger than life guy. Like, holy shit, that's Hulk Hogan. He's like a real life superhero, and you're in the presence of him because every kid idolized him, and he really was just a larger than life caricature of himself. He was a wild guy. It's awesome.
To know our show, Covino and Rich, you know that we always talk about my childhood, and you always say, like, well, what meant something to me? The Mets, the 49ers, and Hulk Hogan. That was really like, if you wanted to find little Rich's childhood from the 80s to the 90s, all I cared about were the Mets, the 40s, until I met and discovered women. It was Mets, 49ers, and Hulk Hogan, which is why.
Hold on, did you mention Alf?
And Alf. I did love Alf. I mean, the old Alf.
How do you leave Alf out of this? You bring up Alf at least once a day.
But this is why this moment is so special to me. Hulk Hogan was in our studio once, and I said, hey, Hulk, indulge me. This had to be 15 years ago. I said, listen, if I were to trash talk Covino right now, how would you trash talk Covino? And then I said, can you also teach me how to rip off a shirt?
For your bedroom antics in the early 2000s, right?
Ask my wife. I still do this.
That's how he
call
got
it the
it.
old Hulkster. But I want everyone to just take a moment.
It's weird that Rich drops a big leg on his wife, too,
watch
when he's
this
done.
and tell me that this isn't every little 80s kid's fantasy come true. Hulk Hogan in the studio with us. Take a look at this.
What year was this about? Like 2005, 6 maybe?
I mean, because this is before our producer Spot was with us.
This is almost 20 years ago.
This is Sammy J, our first producer for Sirius XM. So I'm talking 06, 07.
Yeah, almost 20 years ago.
So
if he's 71 now and he passed away, he's about 51 years old at this point.
You know something, Covino? I've sat here day after day and watched you drool at how good I look. I've watched you dream that your hair looked like my hair. And I watched you wonder why my teeth are so pearly white and why I'm so much better looking than you are. Well, now I've decided to put a cage around this booth. And as I climb over the counter, and as I rip your skinny little arms that are half the size of my legs, shreds from shreds, everybody will realize that when I tear you down to the brass tacks with no clothes on and leave you laying, all the girls in the world will know that you are the main man around here that's uncircumcised, bro. Grab the left side. You look at the hard camera. Grab the right side now.
Yeah.
And as you pull it very slowly and open your mouth, you give the hard camera the shot and start turning towards your left.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Real slow. Turn to the left.
Yeah!
Now you gotta get him in the air.
Yeah!
Dave Draper.
That's so great.
I mean,
man.
childhood.
So sad.
Childhood memory. The fact that if you told little me that I would do that with the Hulkster one day. So
Okoyo.
rest in
By
peace.
the way, for the record, I am circumcised. Don't listen to what the Hulkster said there. I mean, come on. But still, Rich, I'll never forget that day because it meant so much. It's like, childhood dream come true. Check. Awesome. And I remember taking a photo. I don't know if you still have that photo, Shay, but we're there with his family and his arm was gigantic. His arm was so big around that time that it was bigger than both of us combined.
Look
There
at
it is.
that. That's insane.
I remember that day. So, the pythons were real. The legend was real. And rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. Cardiac arrest in Clearwater, Florida at the age of 71. And our thoughts and prayers are with his fans, Rich, and everybody.
His family.
Our childhoods, and his family, of course.
What did they used to say? The immortal Hulk Hogan, because Hulkamania lives forever.
Couldn't believe it. And by the way, I can't believe when you think of his top moments, you left off no holds barred in his amazing acting.
I mean, that
Remember how
was-
they hyped that up when we were kids?
Zeus?
They hyped that movie up so much when we were kids. And the line that you always remember is Dookie. Yeah.
Dookie,
I can't believe you left that off.
smell?
Dookie.
Yeah, that shit was funny. So rest in peace, Hulk Hogan.
Underlips. Hulk Hogan. Wow. What a week.
Yeah, it's been a shitty week.
Absolutely. Now, Rich, I
Yeah,
want to
buddy.
turn the page. It sort of ties into wrestling, actually.
Yep.
Speaking of Hulk Hogan, speaking of wrestling, what would you say your favorite wrestling pay-per-view was as a kid?
Ooh.
I had them all. I was one of those spoiled kids that invited all my friends over.
You were that asshole?
I had the Tough Man UFC before it was a thing, all the WrestleMania events. Like,
You know, I would say some of those, like WrestleMania 5 versus Macho, WrestleMania 3 when he slammed Andre. But I'd say later, I actually remember as a grown-up actually buying the pay-per-view to watch The Rock against Hogan. And that was the story where the crowd, they thought it was going to be all Rock, but the crowd went nuts for Hogan, and they were making adjustments as they wrestled, and it did a great show. So I would say WrestleMania 18 and WrestleMania 5.
what does the Overpromised Nation say? Hit us up. Again, at Covino Rich at Fox Sports Radio. The highest grossing pay-per-view event ever, for record.
Could I guess?
Sure.
One of the Holyfield Tyson too?
No. But a good guess.
Wow.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Manny Pacman Pacquiao.
Yeah, that makes
May
sense.
2nd, 2015, still holds the record. Sold approximately 4.6 million pay-per-views. And again, it was sort of out of the prime of when you wanted to see that fight. 4.6 million pay-per-view buys, which generated over $410 million. And worldwide, over $500 million, right?
And that was a fight that people thought happened a little too late, to be honest. But
Right.
still, a legendary fight.
And when you think back, though, the pay-per-view culture was so much fun. Your buddies came by, you had pizza, you enjoyed a Tyson fight, pay-per-view. Well,
Remember, people would get mad when Tyson would knock someone out too soon. And you're like, we spent money to watch one round? That was the only gripe people had with Tyson when we were kids.
seriously, but it was fun, but sort of ran its course. We had our pay-per-views in the world of wrestling, in the world of Howard Stern had his pay-per-view
But bongos.
specials, but bongo fiestas, right? You were buying pay-per-views left and right. Tough Men, UFCs. Well, now Turki Al-Sheikh is saying that he had a great meeting with Brother Shea, CEO of DAZN, and they have a big vision to grow boxing. And they've decided no more pay-per-views, starting with the Ring Magazine show in November. Riyadh season and ring events will be free to DAZN subscribers. The pay-per-view model has damaged boxing, and they will no longer support it for the fight fans.
Can I tell you, I agree with this 1 billion %. And I'll tell you why. What did wrestling do? There's no way on planet Earth at this age. Yeah, I got little kids, but I'm not renting and paying for a wrestling pay-per-view. But you know what I did do? Watch the last few on WWE Network or now Netflix. Like the streaming service template where, hey, if you're a streaming service member, you're going to get the big event. And if you told me subscribe to DAZN, but that means you get the fights, or subscribe to ESPN Plus or whatever they're doing it on, no one wants to spend $80 for one fight night. But guess what you will do? You'll spend your $10, $12 a month, $15 a month on a service. I love it. This is gonna bring boxing back in a big way.
And that's the whole point. You could think what you want about this guy and his money and what he's doing, but he's trying to fix the sport. So what was once a great time in our life, it became like every fight in every event was a pay-per-view event, and you start losing focus on who the real stars are, and you're not able to follow as much because everything and every weekend is a pay-per-view. You're not buying every fight, so therefore you're missing out on all these great fights and great events. So if he stands to his word, we're all going to reap the benefits of being able to see these fights, see these events, get to know these performers, fighters, entertainers on a different level, because there will be no more pay-per-views and it'll be on DAZN moving forward.
I want you to keep in mind this weekend, everyone you know is going to end up watching Happy Gilmore 2. Why? Because
it's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. It's not. You don't have to go to the theater. The analogy would be, why did every person you know watch Mike Tyson, Jake Paul? You already have Netflix. You watched it on Netflix. And that is why this is a brilliant move. I think the days of you saying, well, this weekend there's a great fight, bro. And unless it's a Canelo or a Mayweather or someone like that, or maybe even
And what happens?
Tyson Fury.
You and your buddy start scrambling to find some weird ass link, and you really can't appreciate the fight the way you're supposed to.
You're like, yeah.
So when you think about wrestling and all the pay-per-views and Hulk Hogan, like you start thinking about fights and boxing. It might be a dying art form because no one wants to come out of their pocket for these things anymore.
Yeah.
And that's the latest news there. And just to keep you posted, the next big fight, September 13th, Canelo Crawford in Vegas. We hope to be out there.
Perfect.
So, hey, Turki Al-Sheikh trying to fix what's broken. And just got to say thanks to the Hulkster for all the memories and all the great pay-per-views and all the just wonderful times we shared in the studio. It's
Like
been
you
a
said,
tough
man,
week, man.
A rough week for kids of the 80s or 90s. Cosby Show, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Ozzy, and now the Hulkster. So, hey, rest in peace to all of them. And just a reminder, if you're with us not only on Fox Sports and Overpromised, if you're on our Patreon, where we do a podcast every day, uncensored, we posted old videos and interviews with Ozzy and Hulk Hogan, so you could see that if you're one of our patrons. So check that out. In the meantime, we'll see you back on Fox Sports Radio tomorrow. Have a great one. We'll see you later on. Arrivederci, baby.
See you in the overpromised land.
What you gonna do?